Welcome to the Gig Show. I'm Jim Dorman.
And I'm your co-host, Dan Cody.
Dan, it's been a little while since we talked. What have you been up to musically since then?
I just finished recording and mixing a new song. It's called Around the Dial, and going to get it shipped to mastering, and hopefully going to release it in the first week of the new year.
Okay. Is it another kind of upbeat type of song, or are we going down this time?
No, it's staying upbeat, and it's a little bit in the little bit of a tribute to, say, the Beach Boys and the early '60s type of feel. So it's sounding pretty good. So I think you'll like it.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah. What about you, Jim? What have you been up to? I know you went to see Susan Tedeschi the other night.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. I haven't been to too many concerts in the last year. But I got to see two in a brief period of time. The Tedeschi Trucks Band on a Saturday night, and the Allman Family Revival, which was going to tribute to Greg Allman, whose birthday was on December 8th. And so what the Allman Betts Band has Greg Allman's son Devin, Dickie Betts' son Dwayne, and Barry Oakley's son Barry Oakley, and another host of great musicians. So within kind of like a short period of time, we got to really celebrate some of my favorite music. Excellent. Which is a lot of, there's a lot of different things going on, but Allman Brothers music, plus people who probably love the Allman Brothers and that kind of thing. So that was kind of cool. Right. So yeah, to go out there, especially the Tedeschi Trucks band. So so musically, that was just fantastic. A little busy, a little funny being there in the crowd with masks on and that kind of thing, and kind of some people are not wearing them, that thing. So hopefully we'll all right. I got my booster shot recently, so I'm feeling okay. But
good.
So we're looking forward to our great show with a guest. Who are we having on today?
We have Mr. Tom Hamilton.
Tom Hamilton.
That's right.
Like the Tom Hamilton?
From Weymouth.
Yeah, that Tom Hamilton. I went up to Tom Hamilton of Aerosmith. People go, "Hey, are you the guy from Weymouth that does all the great charity events and plays in a lot of different bands and welcomes all kinds of people out there on stage and supports all kinds of things?" You think people probably would ask him that, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he's the MC, the master of all ceremonies for gigs, and does a great job, and always with that charitable spirit. Right. As you know, we with SPX, we don't take any money. We give it right back to local charities.
That's fantastic.
And I've known Tom, 35 years, over 30 years, and counting.
Wow.
And we've been playing together since my freshman year in high school, which is where I met him.
Yeah. Well, man, that's great. We'll save some more. You guys, I want you guys catch up a little bit here and fill everybody in on that how that's been. So why don't we just take a pause now, and then we'll bring out Tom Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Matt Lyons, student intern here at Abington CAM, Abington's local cable station. And although our building is located in the high school, you don't have to be a student to get involved. Anyone in Abington who's looking to contribute to the local access programming is encouraged and welcome to help out. Tired of all the boring things on TV? Well, here's your chance to do better. Whether you want to learn the technical aspects of what goes into a production, want to learn how to edit professional-looking videos, want a cup of our famous water, want to host your own interview show.
How do you get your hair like that? Looks fantastic. That's a great question, Matt.
Want to host your own art show?
Or your own sports show? Go along.
Then Abington CAM is the place for you. So stop on by. We're here for you.
Well, welcome back from the break. We're here now with our guest, Tom Hamilton. Tom, I'm going to read the little intro I have for you. Singer, songwriter, guitarist, and vocalist, plays in the fabulous XPX band along with our co-host Dan Cody, and also the dynamic duo at Tunic Road with Dan Cody. Yep. You guys have a lot of history together.
We do.
And we'd love to talk. That goes way back to Weymouth North High School.
Yep.
So for almost, it's like, what, 30 something? What reunion you guys got coming up?
Oh, that's a good one,
It's
huh?
going to be in the 30.
So 88 for me. You're 89, right?
Yeah.
So do the math on.
Let's call it 30 plus.
35th,
Yeah, for
30
sure.
plus, I know. Where I'm a little bit north of that, but no pun intended. But so, Tom, actually, you've had a couple losses in the family. I want to express my condolences, our condolences on the loss of your dad and your sister in a short period of time.
Big fans,
Yeah.
big musicians, and knew both of you guys,
Right.
Interestingly enough, my folks
Yeah.
got to know you in that brief time
I
that
know.
we've known you, It's pretty amazing how they just really wrap their arms around everybody who comes through our music scene,
Yeah, you just felt kind of the love or whatever. It was just kind of
that's what
instant connection.
Yep,
Especially I loved how at the charity event that SPX played at, and the
Walk for Hope.
Walk for Hope in South Weymouth,
yeah.
and I got to speak with your mom afterwards, and and just how excited she was, and to hear the stories about how you guys had like a family band, or
sure, the Hamiltons.
The Hamiltons. And one of the funniest things I think is like she said we played second weddings.
That they loved. That was my dad loved promoting themselves like that. Nobody really hired them for the big weddings, but they got lots of second weddings. Older folks, even people who were older that got married later in life, and they just had a good time, and they didn't need to be too, not that they were pretty polished, but I think, didn't think that they were as polished as you needed to be, but I think they could have held any room that they went into.
Yeah.
They were tight. They were good band. The Novanadas.
The Novanadas.
Yeah,
Okay.
Which is nothing new.
Nothing.
Yeah. And they were a 4 or 5 piece band back in the day. Yeah.
So how did that play in your development as a musician?
I went to bed at night with my parents' band rehearsing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I was 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and also helped my dad unload his drums when they'd come home from gigs. They had he had a gold Dodge Tradesman van, 8 passenger, but they fit. Their PA system was a custom bass amp that had 4 inputs on it.
Yeah.
And my brother Jimmy still has that amp to this day. And the drum kit, they had suitcases to hold his cymbals, and we'd all come out when mom and dad got home, unload the van, get it into the house, and it was just part of our makeup.
What was the first instrument that you played?
It would be drums, which was my dad's kit, which is still at Studio 66 at the same house I grew up in. And I mean, Dan played that kit. I played that kit. Is still the rehearsal kit at our studio. So,
is that what Studio 66 is?
Yeah, 66 Laurel.
That's your address in Weymouth.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys have that in common, right? The drums thing a little bit?
Yeah, that's where I started on drums.
Yeah.
So, early on, and then get to guitar. But a lot of people start on drums and then graduate to other.
Who's your drummer now in the SPX band?
Mike Galuzzo. So he's a real drummer. See, that's the thing. I never took any lessons. I just played because my dad's kit was at the house. Yeah. And then, Dan had a kit at his house. Our friend Dave DeLuca had a kit at his house. And we would, after school, rotate. We'd be at my house, which we cleaned out the basement, hung up a blue tarp. Remember that, to make a separate music area?
Yeah.
And we'd just go down and play for hours, and it just didn't matter. For some reason, and that's one of the reasons why I shifted from drums to guitars. It felt like everybody was drumming at that time, like taking drum lessons and all this. And I was like, I'll just play guitar because everybody else is drumming, And my friend Tim Donovan, remember Tim? He had been taking bass. He was the only bass player in town, besides my brother Jimmy. But Jimmy was in New Jersey at that time, so. It was one of these things. With Tim played bass, I'm like, I'll play guitar with you, and then we rotated. And then Wayne started playing drums, so we had plenty of drummers to pick from.
So it'd be a drummer.
Go ahead.
It'd be a drummer, bass player, and then
6 guitars.
6 guitars.
I guess I shouldn't have played guitar. I should have picked up something else.
That's kind of crazy when you get like 6 guitarists going at once. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was like the Ramones, I think. Just
Yeah.
everybody's just bashing away and
Right.
learning and
Right.
We talked about the Allman Family Revival. I don't know how exactly. I got to count. There was probably like 8 guitarists on. They did One Way Out.
yeah.
So they each took a solo, and it was
Yeah.
all these, Eric Gales.
Well, I feel like that's
anyway, all kinds of-
what we've done over the years is that we've figured out how to pull back, so we can have 8 guitar players, and you just know when to sit out, when to come in, when to it's definitely we've matured at the ripe old age of 50, to finally figure out. Oh, we don't need to blast away the whole time. I think we figured it out a long time ago, but it was one of those things where even then I feel like we didn't just play over each other. Like you did have to bump one of us, every once in a while. You'd have to try to step in to tell somebody to myself
give room.
included. But
I think it's a key thing for you guys because that's I think a lot of people, they want to get the spotlight or something, or there's always someone that really wants to maybe overdo it or show their stuff so much. I don't know, but you guys have always kind of had that kind of thing. Well, I'm gonna obviously I want to play something, but trying to give somebody else a
there's nothing better though than sitting back and letting somebody rip, and you're holding a nice groove behind them. That could just be so much fun. Like if you lock in with the drummer or the bass player and you're just holding something, while somebody's just letting it go. Yeah. That could be just as rewarding, and it's such a good feeling.
How do you think you learned that?
How to sit back?
I don't know. Does that come naturally, or do you think your parents?
To a certain degree, I think it's from going to live shows, going to see stuff. But yeah, my mom's guitarist when we were first playing guitar. She was French Canadian, so she had a pretty thick accent, and she was like, "Tommy will learn that the volume knob goes the other way too," and that's I did, eventually. She's like, "He'll learn."
But this one goes to 11. Yeah. That joke gets me.
No, but that was. Why
don't you just set it to 10?
Right. Because then, this one goes to 11.
But this one goes to 11.
Why don't you just take 10 and make 10 louder?
This one, we could go on forever.
Yeah,
so, how old is Jimmy? I mean, not how old, but I mean, he's older than you, right?
Yeah, he class of 81, I think.
So was that kind of, you guys?
He had a bass.
Yeah.
He got a bass for graduation, so around 1980. So that I was 10, and he, like I am, he just left it. He didn't leave it out, but it was available if you wanted to play it. Like like our guitars, our instruments have never been off limits. Yeah. Which it's like just go for it if you want to try and pick it up. So I played "Smoke on the Water" for 20 hours on his bass until my sisters were like, "Stop playing that." But what I mean. But you played something. You know what I mean. You just learned. But the instruments were always around.
Does everybody play?
Well, everybody did. I mean, my brother Jimmy was a bass and guitarist. My brother Peter played trombone in high school and stuff, but he keeps picking it up but never follows. We got to get him to follow through one of these days. Come to a gig. Yeah. My sister Kit played sax, clarinet, all that same thing through high school. Bernie played flute through high school, and then I picked up drums and then guitar, and I played sax in like 4th grade. I did pick up a trumpet when I was like 25. I played for like a year. It was fun. I still love playing the trumpet, but never worked it out though. You know what I mean? But it is a fun instrument.
But Jim never wanted to be the lead guitarist or anything.
No, even him singing. How he does vehicle and stuff like that's all relatively new to him to step out front.
Pretty recent.
He's comfortable with that. He's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Another, he's also in the SBX band. Yeah. So that's another.
Along with my daughter Abby, 2 bass players, very rare.
That's true. That's true. Because it's a family. It's a family
for sure
affair. But when did you kind of step out from that and have play in a band with some other guys?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
So when it was my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, I was in 10th grade. I remember such a moment. It was a surprise party. My parents' band was going to play, but when my parents had to dance, because my mom was the singer in the band and played tenor banjo, my dad was the drummer. So it was their party, so they would have to get out and mingle and talk to people. My brother, Bob Ivel, who taught us all how to play guitar, Not, I mean, he
Right.
encouraged you for sure, but he taught Jimmy and I both, and he's a family friend of ours. He played in a band called the Aladdins back in the 60s out of Quincy, I think. They actually made a record called Sandu, and they cut a 45, had a producer, and then they did that, what you were talking about earlier. They played all the school functions and stuff like that. So Bob and Jimmy were putting together a few songs, and they needed somebody to play the drums, and I had just enough in me to play Glad All Over, Johnny Be Good, Time Won't Let Me. We did like 3 or 4 songs, and we rehearsed in private too. My parents never knew we got ready. So when my parents went out to mingle, I got on the drums, and it was magical. Like it was at the Immaculate Conception Paris Center.
Yeah, okay.
In a huge gymnasium, right?
Yeah.
And the dance floor was packed.
Ooh.
And the lights were low. Like everything was just great. And I couldn't believe it. There were people actually standing around the drum kit like, we didn't know you played. I'm like, I don't really play. Like, but it was like, and we got through these songs. Yeah. And then my dad hopped back on the kit, and I'm like, I'm doing this forever.
Yeah.
I love this.
You love the feeling.
Yeah. And that's when it was like, you know what, I want to, and I think it was probably watching Bob play guitar too that particular night that made me shift from, I love the drums, it's great, and I kind of felt like I'll just always have a drum kit and play, but I think I need to learn the guitar. And so I started probably lessons with Bob like that summer. Yeah.
And then coming into high school, like he was saying, everybody knew somebody that played an instrument, and that's how we met. You get introductions. Yeah. He plays guitar, he plays drums. Oh, hey, you play, I play. Hey, let's get together and jam. Right. And that's where those jams started. Yeah,
we had a lot of kids, but there was so much after school. We played for hours too, terribly. I was, you guys, once you showed me the rock box, you were doomed. It's just a pentatonic pattern, and I'd be like, let me solo. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. But it was like,
that's where you learn.
Rock box.
Yeah.
You guys show me the rock box?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Show you today. No, I've shown so many people the rock box. It's so great.
I've seen it, but whatever. Anyway, so did you guys live near each other, or
just at Weymouth?
It was just school,
Yeah, I lived by the town hall, and
it was closer to the landing.
Yeah, Dan was down across from Idlewell. Yeah,
close enough.
Close enough.
Did you guys have a band at all, or was it just kind of jamming thing?
We jam. Do you remember? I was trying to rattle my brain about it today. Do you remember playing? So I worked for a local contractor. Did you know Manny Mazzola?
Oh, that sounds
his
like
bands are still around.
But I don't.
He was a singer. He played at Kelly's Landing all the time. He's really, really good singer and guitar player.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And he sold my parents his PA set. He bought a new PA. So he sold I went to my parents and said, man, he's selling his PA. We should buy it. My dad wrote a check, and we finally had a real PA. And we played for Manny's brother-in-law's pool party, right? In Stoughton?
Stoughton, yeah.
And we'd never gigged. Never, ever, ever. And this guy just knew we played music. Yeah. He's like, I want to book your band. I'm like, all right. Like, we're on the job. So I call these guys. I'm like, what do you think? We should, we're booked. We got to play.
We got a gig.
So we filled my dad's pickup truck with every single speaker and whatever equipment we think. We had a million cables, and it was such a mess. And Wayne played drums. It was me, you, DeLuca, did Donovan. I don't remember who played bass. But
I remember the van going off the sidewalk and onto the
pickup
street.
Truck.
And it kind of did one of these. It had so much equipment.
And all the gear just went boom, boom, settling.
So you guys got used to how
lumping
to load
gear.
in, a load out, or whatever.
Early on. And that was it. We did that. The backyard was packed. They didn't get, we were, we were,
okay.
We pulled it off, somehow. They all loved it, and we're like, we'll do this some more. And then, we go off to college. You played in your groups. I played in all kinds of, college bands, and you play on a college campus. It's like automatic. Right.
Where'd you go to college?
Pittsburgh State. Yeah.
And so you met people there, and you had a band on?
So I went up there, and I actually played. So I played in the Weymouth High School, Weymouth North High Jazz Band. Got a scholarship out of Weymouth from the music parents.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Yeah. 2 years of guitar playing. And I got the Mark Morgan Memorial Scholarship. He was a a student who passed away from my
Yeah.
sister's class
Okay. Yeah.
in a terrible car accident
Yeah.
on Fall River Bridge. And so I got his scholarship, his memorial, and I got the music parrot. So when I went to Fitchburg, I had to join the jazz band. I had to be there every week because I was on a scholarship. And the jazz band was great, and you just meet all the musicians, you know, right there.
Yeah.
And did a band called the Goodfellas. It was the piano player from the jazz band,
Yeah.
bass player from the jazz band, and the drummer. I don't. The drummer wasn't from the jazz band.
Yeah.
But we played The Cure, REM. Like I had 3 originals in my tank at that time. I'm like, guys, I taught them that, and
Yeah.
we played those. We opened for a band called the Love Dogs.
That sounds familiar.
It was a house party, but it was incredible
Maybe.
because it was packed. Well, the Love Dogs played all around
Oh,
Boston.
okay. Okay.
Yep. Brad Eisenhower, Mad Brad, he was awesome. But he had asked me, he's like, "Can your band?" Again, didn't really have a band, but
Yeah.
he's like, "Can you got a band?" I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you guys open?" I'm like, "Sure." And so,
Wow.
you know, a couple hundred people, it's just a blast, and they're right in your face, and they don't care. You just have, you know, it's loud and good.
Are you the lead singer?
I was the singer, like
Yeah.
never, and I had never
Yeah.
been singing at that point. So it was just purely play songs, you know, which is how SPX is for me.
Right.
I only sing songs I know that I sing with the radio. I'm not a very good singer,
Yeah.
but like I just have the lyrics in my head, you know.
Yeah.
Did the Rope Farmers come after Goodfellas?
So, yep, so I did Goodfellas, and after that, the woman who was running the library, she also ran the theater department, which I was in a couple of the school plays up there. And she's like, "Hey, there's this band that's looking, you know, to audition a guitar player. You want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I like these guys that I'm playing with, but I'll go check these guys out." So I went to rehearsal, and as soon as rehearsal ended, they were like, "Yeah, this is cool. We'd love to have you." And they're like, "And we got a gig. We got like this really big gig." And I'm like, "All right, cool." I go, "This could be fun." And they're like, "Yeah, we're opening for O Positive."
Oh.
I don't know if you remember that.
Great band.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
So O Positive was coming to campus, and then that was just another big event. Like, you know, you're playing in front of, I don't know, a little under 1,000 people, maybe 1,000, you know.
I thought it was 11 million.
11,
Yeah,
something
right?
like that. Yeah, it was pretty.
All right. Well, let's just hold on to that, though. I want to talk a little bit more about that. But you know, I'd love to also hear some of your music. So, do you think you can play a song for us? So,
Sure, I'll play whatever you guys would like to hear.
yeah. Well, why don't you decide and tell us a little bit about? Can you tell us what song you're gonna do?
Sure. Yeah, I was thinking I'd do the song "Happy," which I wrote again at Studio 6D6.
Yeah.
On my mom's acoustic guitar in like 10 minutes. Like it all flowed out all at once. The lyrics, the chords, the changes, I'm like, wow, this is when I was kind of new at songwriting. I'm like, wow, this just really just came out.
Yeah.
And at the time I was in a power trio called Bridge with Jerry McDonald and Mike Galuzzo, the SPX drummer. And Jerry McDonald, he owns the Oddfellows building. The Oddfellows it's now a recording studio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jerry, it's amazing space, which we should go there as a group someday.
Yeah.
But so I showed it to them that day, like we were going to a gig. And Jerry and Mike are just really incredible musicians. Yeah. And we played it in the basement and then played it at that gig that night. Okay. Like without writing it down, without, you know, putting it on paper. All right. And it's called Happy, and it's about my parents and the house, and it was just, simple times for sure.
All right, well, let's take a pause and come back with Tom Hamilton and Happy.
You've got to snap your fingers, you gotta kick up your feet. Just smell the roses, they sure are sweet. You get to think of thoughts that will make you smile. Enjoy the road and stay for a while. You can be as happy as you want to be. You can be as happy as you want to be. Hey, 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 hey. You get to lose your hat and lose your coat. Just be yourself and tell a good joke. You get to laugh out loud until you cry. Don't be afraid, just come inside. You can be as happy as you want to be. You can be as happy as you want to be. Hey, 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 hey. You can bring a friend and stay to the end. There'll be no pain. Just throw your arms around your friend and call out their name. You got to snap your fingers, you gotta kick up your feet. Just smell the roses, they sure are sweet. You get to think the thoughts that will make you smile. Enjoy the road and stay for a while. You can be as happy as you want to be. You can be as happy as you want to be. You can be as happy as you want to be.
Oh, welcome back. Thanks, Tom. That was great.
My pleasure.
So you talking about a little bit before that opening up for O Positive. What was that?
Yeah.
What was that like experience
that
like
was just that whole thing where
at the time?
Well, again, you know, as we all know, it's just so nuts to rehearse in a basement or whatever. You never hear anything really.
Right.
Like everybody's playing their part, but so we went to sound check, and now again, these are all different moments that change your appreciation for what you're doing and why you want to keep playing. So the O Positive sound folks, you know, they booked us to come do sound check, you know, that afternoon. Once the stage was up and the sound system was in place and the lights, all that stuff. So we walk in, we're like, oh, wow, cool. It's like a real setup, right? And we do a quick sound check, just like we did here, like mic check, blah, blah, blah. Here's my sound, here's my sound. And they're like, why don't you guys just do a song? So we did Boys Don't Cry by The Cure, which was funny because whenever we did a sound check, we picked a song we weren't playing in the set.
Right.
Like it was a big deal to not spoil a song,
Right,
you know? But now I'm like, you know, it doesn't really matter. But anyways, we played Boys Don't Cry as a sound check. And our roommate was in the back of the room with the sound guy. And afterward, I'll just never forget his face. His name was Dan Molesky. And he comes walking to the stage like in complete shock. He's like, you guys actually sound really good. And we had a singer. I wasn't the singer of this band.
Okay.
So we had a lead singer, 2 guitars, bass, and a drummer. And I'm still very good friends with all of them. Like we all keep in touch, you know. Jerry McDonald the guy from Bridge, ended up coming in when our Fitchburg State bass player left us. Just a funny thing is Steve O'Callahan, that drummer, he has sat in with us at the Tavern at the End of the World and some other. He's always at the ready to come play a gig with us. And he's in a band called Devry right now. They're pretty popular. They're huge. They're big fundraising, doing great things for the community kind of band. And Jack Sanka, Matt McNally is the singer.
And talk about a funny gig moment. Remember the Tom Hamilton incident at Elaine's?
Yep. The snowstorm, blizzard, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like we played at Elaine's down in Nantasket Beach a lot.
Okay.
And like, so Bridge kind of came and went and we'd come back and forth, but in between I'd still have gigs that were booked and I'd just take them as a solo act, and whoever was available would come play. So it would go in the papers, Tommy Hamilton and Friends or whatever.
Tom Hamilton and Friends,
Oh, okay. So that's what they saw.
So one day this guy, I mean, he'd come trudging in through like a blizzard. And that was the thing. We were like, we'll play whatever the conditions are. We didn't care. We showed up. And we'd have a handful. Sometimes we didn't have anybody, you know, it was just crazy. But this poor guy came with his camcorder and all that, and he's like, how did he ask? Where's Tom Hamilton?
Yeah, he had to film Tom Hamilton. I said, from Aerosmith or from Tom from Weymouth? And he goes, oh, it's not Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith.
Right. Yeah, that was classic. The poor guy. And so he goes, well, you mind if I record you anyways? I'm like, go ahead. I don't care, the poor guy.
We gotta get you guys together.
I have no idea whatever happened with that.
As I say, I think we talked about this off camera, but Paul Santo, if you're out there listening, if we have you back, could you bring Tom Hamilton and we can get these guys together?
Yeah, finally. Hash it out.
That's a friend of ours who has played with Tom Hamilton.
That's pretty awesome.
From Weymouth, so that'd be kind of cool.
One of my favorite basses.
Well, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry can come too.
Right? Sure. Why not? You know, you might as well. Yeah. But that was hilarious. That was a funny, poor guy.
What was there's maybe one of these ones was what the biggest gig or like you thought you ever played or most exciting or something like that?
You talking about mine or you? So, well, I mean, obviously that was big. That O Positive thing, that was pretty cool. Like that definitely time-stamped stuff. Yeah. But then, and I don't know when that was, spring of whatever, 91 or something. Then, then just some cool stuff happened. We opened for friends of ours that were doing a record release party at Bunratty's. Yeah. The summer of '92, and this was when Bridge had just kind of started. And we were rehearsing 45 minutes a night at Studio 66. Like we would just get together, do our 45-minute set, and go home. Like it was just like come in, rehearse, go. Like every day, just so we kept the set tight. Yeah. Because it was, back then. Do you remember that? It was 45-minute sets. Yeah. Very rarely did you get an hour slot or anything. So we were opening for them at Bunratty's, which I loved that bar. Do you remember that venue?
I don't remember actually going to it. I was something I always heard appearing at Bunratty's, kind of.
So cool.
I don't think I ever made it there.
Well, but my friend our friend Dave Baker, he played there for years, and we'd been going in and just so familiar with the place. And you're like, oh, cool. They called. They're like, you guys want to open for us for our record release? I'm like, are you kidding? That would be so much fun. So we get there, and we're going to go on first, I guess. I don't remember who the other acts were, but one of them was it was the Brian May's Blues.
Oh yeah, Brian May's Blues Band.
Right, and it was
Brian May from Queen.
No. The local blues. It's Brian May, right?
May? I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy.
He played with Peter Wolf and
plays with Peter Wolf. Yeah.
Quite a few things.
His bass player was the guy who had produced the CD that these guys were releasing, so he got the band to come in. So
that was Tim Archibald.
Tim Archibald, Brian May, and then their drummer, who also played with Peter Wolf. So we get there, we're going to go on first. So it must have been us first, then them, then Johnny Groove, right? This is so long ago, too, which I kind of laugh. I'm like, I don't want to really talk about 92 being my peak. But it was just one of the great moments, And they had a gig up in Revere or something that night. Ovations. Do you remember that place?
In Revere?
Yeah, was that where it was?
It kind of sounds familiar. I don't know. I'm not positive.
But they were like, do you guys mind if we go on first? And we're like, sure. Like, yeah, that's okay. Not a big deal. All right. And then they're like, can we use your gear? And it's Tim Archibald on bass, and Brian was just on keys. Right? He wailed on key, and a drummer. And, Mike was had a very low-level beginner drum kit on a cage. And then Jerry had his combo that he didn't want shredded, because Tim Archibald was just killer, laid into it. But again, we're professional house sound and all that, so we really didn't have to worry about our gear. So these guys got up and just blasted out a set. They ended playing the Nut Rocker, the Boston Bruins theme song, right? Yeah. The place was going nuts, and then we're on, right? and the thing is, our gear is ready. Our gear is ready.
So you're right on.
Like sound check to the nines now, right? Because they used everything. So we're like, all right. So we go on, and it was awesome. We had like I said, we were rehearsing every single day. 45 minutes, at least 45 minutes a night, just plowing through our set. And so we got up and we just went through our set end to end, and it was awesome. And by the time we went on, the place was jammed. It was like 9 o'clock on a Friday, 9:30. It wasn't too early, too late. So that was just one of those great gigs, and we played all the places.
Did you have long flowing hair at that time? Or,
Are you joking?
I am joking. No, I'm not joking. Actually serious.
Yeah,
He did.
Yeah, I have pictures.
Yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't long flowing, but it was big and long.
Maybe we can get.
Well, I was
get
thinking
one
if
in.
Kevin wants some
Sure,
pictures,
we can,
I'd send some.
we can
stuff
insert one right
if you
here.
want some B-roll. Yeah, but it was just so that was, and that just then easily got us going into the whole Boston circuit where you're like, oh, we just played Buns. So we went to the Middle East, the Rat.
Oh.
We did a 45 of vinyl. We had a producer out of Plymouth Rock Records, Mark Bryant. He produced a 45. He always wanted to make a record. We did our demo tape with him. He came to some of our gigs. He's like, you guys are great. I've always wanted to make a vinyl. Can I produce it for you? And he paid for the studio time, for the he made 500 records. I meant to bring one today too, I forgot. And then we did the record release party at the Rat. And then the Rat
Amazing.
became a thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's a
I
thing,
couldn't
right.
believe I could just call the Rat. They're like, yep, you want a Friday? You want a Saturday? I'm like, yeah, that would be great. So we just kept playing the Rat and the Middle East. We did a lot. And we did.
I missed the Rat. I missed that one. I'm jealous on that one.
No, it was fun. You played Jake Ivory's though with us.
Yeah.
We played. You remember
In
that
Boston?
piano bar?
Oh, I should. Yeah.
So it was a piano
near
bar.
Fenway?
I knew the guy who
Lansdowne?
managed the bands. Yeah, right across from Fenway.
I do.
So we played my original band. We played at Jake Ivory's a bunch of times, like a regular kind of buddy of mine was managing the bands there. So
And talk about the Rat, little music trivia. What three-piece English band played their second gig in the United States
The
at the
Police.
Rat?
Yeah, I knew that too. I had that one.
three-piece Seattle band played one of their first Boston gigs there. Was Nirvana.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and I know like you too played a lot like Boston.
Yeah,
stuff, and
I don't know if they did Bun Ratties or
I don't
not.
know, what the if they played the Rat or something like that,
Yeah.
or Paradise or whatever.
Definitely
but-
did.
Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. Never played the Paradise. Not yet, anyway.
That's right.
Oh.
Did
you guys ever have any thoughts that it sounds like you were busy. You guys both have full-time regular jobs, and back then you guys were probably like running around from work to gigs to that kind
Well,
of thing.
it was tough going from Learjets to limos to five-star
band.
hotels to a small
back to the band.
club.
Yeah, oh, I see.
Yeah, right.
But did you ever think that, like, geez, I wonder if we just maybe hit the right thing or something like that, that this would become the,
I'm open for anything. Forever,
We're still working on
and
that.
it's so
still
funny
working on it.
because I always just keep that door open. Why not? Because it's the world, and the world is crazy, and you never know what could ever come across your path and
Right.
what opportunity
Awesome.
to take. But like my sister Bertie once said to me, she was like, "You have a family now." I go, "I'll bring my family with me." I go, I have no, I don't need to go sow wild oats or anything. I go, I want to bring my family, bring my kids. I don't care. Like, I'll take them around the country and just go like I did. There's nothing better. You get it too.
Yeah.
Like when you
Absolutely.
play live.
Hey, we'll get a
live.
bus. We'll
Yeah.
paint it.
Partridge Family,
Ruben Kincaid here.
Right?
right? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. I
Yeah.
would, if
You
I
do
ever
it.
had, if I had, and it's funny, I like my originals, and they're old now, and it's funny, I just was playing something this morning, warming up, because I hadn't played in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I got to show this one to the band. It's never been out. Nobody's ever heard it. You've never even heard it. But I'm like, oh, I still got all these originals in the tank that I'd love to, pull out and see where they go. And
Are we going
awesome.
to play that to finish it out?
tonight, old school, yeah, they love when we do that.
Well, we could, man, I think we could probably chat for a long time.
I do have one other.
Some
We
of
had a
this,
good venue though that we played.
All right. Yeah, let's do that.
Hard Rock Cafe in Boston. We got in there. Same thing. We were opening for the Mud Hens, which is another.
One of my favorite. I love the Mud Hens.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Mike Smith, who also played in Johnny Groove, who we opened him. He asked us to come open for them at the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
We even opened for them at St. Anselm's College one time. But at the Hard Rock we played. We opened. Boom. Amazing night. We played at that Cavern Club in the basement. You know how they had that set up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jam-packed front to back. Then the Mud Hens played, and then after that, the bartender who was booking it, he's like, "Here, guys, make sure you call. We'll have to have you back."
Ah.
And next thing you know, we were at the Hard Rock on a regular basis.
Yeah.
One night we showed up, and again with the gear, we showed up, and the bartender guy comes up and he goes, guys, the Specials are going to come over here. They're playing over on Lansdowne. They're going to do an after party.
Yeah.
Can they use your gear? So we're all like, there was a house PA system there, and there was a band on before us, and that guy knew Mike Galuzzo, and he let Mike have his drum kit. Jerry and I just plugged directly into the PA system. That's it. No sound effect, none of our pedals, nothing. It all just went up to the Specials. So we wailed, again, Cavern Club, packed front to back, like people standing right. That night I think actually got recorded.
Yeah.
Like, we missed the Specials. Like, completely missed. They were playing to this packed house upstairs.
Oh my
we
God.
were obviously getting all the overflow, but we entertained them all, and they loved it, and yeah, just crazy. But then Dan and I, as Matunic Road, a couple summers ago, were playing at the pub in Matunic, right?
Yeah.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, in Rhode Island. We're playing just acoustic thing, and the small little pub right next to us is the Ocean Mist, right?
Yeah.
And it was G Love playing. So his tour bus is outside playing. They're sold out and packed. We're over in the pub, literally next door, like from here to there, right? Yeah. And everybody that couldn't fit in there, we entertained them. And that was the night they're like, we'll pay you more. Can you play another round? This is only a year or two ago.
I just saw him with the Allman Family Revival
G-Love.
last Tuesday.
So ready? Just crazy degrees of separation.
He was great.
My cousin Danny is the saxophone player for a band called Slightly Stupid.
Yep.
Very good friends with G Love. He just did a beautiful podcast, just like this video podcast, which I edited for him. And you can check that out online. I'll share you the links.
All these connections.
But he did this whole, it's really sweet, original. And my cousin, he created this band. It's called The Juice. So it's G Love and The Juice. When you hear that, that's a separate thing than the sauce. And they do, they do this real. They're amazing. Big band too. They got like the keyboards, the piano, sax, trombone, bass, couple guitars, like just killer. It's really and they're again these guys are A-list, right? Like you're like, oh man, it's a bomb. But you laugh. So all these funny little things. But G Love playing next door. We got all his overflow, and it was awesome. We had a blast. And it's all pre-COVID, and the pub was so good to us. They definitely kept having us back, and even when G Love wasn't there, we had it jammed, and we had a gig that night in Weymouth, so we had to finish our set. And the people in the room were like, no. Right? They were kind of mad, too. They were like, no, man, you got to stay. You can't do this. And we're like, we were only booked till 6 or whatever.
You guys are doing a gig in Rhode Island and then a gig in Weymouth the same day.
2 hours later. And we were like, we're like pedal.
And that's just, that's not too long ago.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago. Well, pre-COVID. Yeah.
Sorry. Any kind of, I know it's kind of been strange times for gigs and things, but anything on the horizon?
Well, we did the fundraiser up behind Tufts, which that was a really nice stage, big stage, big, beautiful. So we're doing a lot of stuff with the Weymouth 400 for their celebration. So they're raising a lot of money because as of 2022, we'll be there 400 all year. So I think we're booked to play. I think we're playing in Central Square, like on an outdoor stage. I think we're booked to
Rockland Day.
Oh, Rockland Day in the summer. Right now, we're just taking some. Jimmy and I, we're just beside ourselves with everything with my dad and my sister. So, I think we got the call. Cottage Bars obviously said when you guys are ready to come back, just call us, and they're so awesome. They're same with the next page. We can call Eddie and just book something, and he'll put us in the books, and those are local things, and. I don't know what else we.
Hopefully, we'll see some gigs for the SPX band and Matunic Road.
Yeah, and that's again the Mooring down in North Weymouth. Jim, you like that place?
That's so much fun.
Yeah, Jim Hardy. Yeah, and I think he had a big loss this year too. It's like he's before we all started having these things in our families, he was reaching out to us, be like, when do you guys want to come? So I think we could call Jim and get Matunic Road in there and do our thing, So
maybe just stay tuned to like the Cottage, maybe SPX Band, the Mooring on social media. I know I'm a Facebook kind of guy.
I think that's the only place we really we put it out on Instagram and Facebook. I don't really have any other platforms.
Right. We always have DanCodyMusic.com. We always keep up to things that Dan's doing.
And that's the next thing. I mean, I really want to support Dan, and I just really want to get his record release party in the the books.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. Like, yeah, Dan's just worked so hard on those songs, and
They're awesome.
like you've had them forever.
I love it. You know, I have it on my my YouTube music thing. It's my favorite music. You know, so sometimes just all your favorites come up, and I'm like, oh, it's Dan. The next song comes up, and it's just like, you know, and it's so good. Deal. It's so good.
It's a real deal for sure. You know, so that's I would love to figure out. We were going to get that curtain call theater. Do a small intimate record release party before COVID, and then everything fell apart.
Hopefully, I'm targeting spring, so maybe we can do it in the spring.
Yeah, it's a beautiful room. You ever been in there?
I've done many theater reviews in the Curtain Call Theater.
Right. It's a great little
for
room.
the Patriot Ledger.
Yeah, I love that place.
Sure. I wrote. Side note: I wrote that I was talking about a play. Might have been a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, and I said that the Curtain Call Theater is lovably creaky.
Yeah.
Because like there's kind of creaks when you walk around in the black box theater there. So I know later on at some point they came up with the Creaky Award. And they gave it out to someone at the theater. They didn't even invite me or anything. They had T-shirts made.
No way.
I'm like, I always wanted to coin a phrase.
Yeah, that was mine.
That was mine. I didn't even know. Anyway, but yeah, I know. I haven't been over in a while, but I do like the little theater. All right, well, like I said, we could.
We could.
This is so much fun. Thanks for coming on, Tom.
There's so much.
Tom, so you get another song for us?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yep, we do. You want to do 3,000 Miles Away?
Yeah.
That's about my dad's cousin, who took me in September of '93. He invited me out to. He had a studio in Paradise, California, which he lost it all in those fires. Remember those Paradise fires? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh my God!
But in '93, he brought me in, and we recorded 13 of my originals in his studio, and he just produced them to the max. It was so much fun, and that was the beginning. That's where I kind of got so I could go out and do my solo stuff. You know, if Bridge wasn't doing anything, or if we weren't doing, we just would go out and be like, all right, Tom Hamilton booking a gig here. You know, here's my solo cassette. So he had produced that. So this song, when I got back from the session of that, I wrote 3,000 Miles Away because we just had this incredible bond. It's funny, he was 2 years younger than I am now. When I was 23, going out to him, and I just thought the world of him. And you know, we talked about how it's 3,000 miles is not that far. Like even if we have to just get on the phone, we can just always be in touch.
If you're walking,
would be hard.
Yeah.
Or plane, train, automobile. You pick the plane because you'll have your turkey roll.
That's right.
If you're going to get stuck in Chicago.
And have our turkey roll right here.
That's right.
All right, so let's we'll let you guys play us out. I want to again thank our guest Tom Hamilton.
Thanks for having me.
This has just been so much fun. Co-host Dan Cody.
Yep.
And Kevin and Sandy Tachi behind the scenes making this work.
Thank you very much.
And we'll catch you next time on The Gig Show.
Miles away. Come on now, baby. Come on now, baby. Won't you say we'll fly tonight in vain? To be 3,000 miles away. There's something going down. I see it happening right here in my very own town. Shots fired, but no one makes a sound. Somebody better tell the kids in the quarries, be careful, don't drown, because 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, any direction is fine. 3,000, 3,000, we're gonna make it there in no time. The TV's pulling on my brain. Nothing of value on any time of the day. I'm just trying to open up my mind. my mind. Too many people with too much concern on full time. 3,000, any direction is fine. I said 3,000, we're gonna make it there in no time, in no time, in no time, in no time, no time, no time, in no time, in no time, in no time, no time, no time, in no time, in no time.